What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're exploring Raleigh versus Charlotte. So this video might be for you if you're considering a move to North Carolina and you're trying to make a decision, is Raleigh the place for me or is Charlotte going to be the place for me? These are the two major cities here in North Carolina, and they're the two cities that get considered the most, and they're what pops up on Google first when you search places to live in North Carolina. So let's research both, understand both, and then help you make a decision. All right, so location. Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina, and an unknown fact is that it's actually one of, I believe, 3 capitals in the entire United States that's not located on water. So Raleigh is in the middle of the state, and it has a really nice location. It's in what we call the Piedmont, and so it's kind of, you got all 4 seasons here. You have winter and summer, definitely have a hot summer, but it's literally located in the heart of North Carolina. It's easy to get to Virginia and South Carolina from Raleigh, and easy to get to the coast and to the mountains. It, again, is directly located in the middle of the state. Charlotte is more situated in the southwest part of the state, located closer to the mountains of North Carolina, but it's also located further away from the coast than Raleigh is. So for example, Raleigh is about 2 hours to the closest beach. You can actually get there faster depending on who's driving.
What's he doing? What is his hurry?
You know, George, it's not good enough to get there. You gotta make good time.
Whereas Charlotte's gonna be more like 3.5, 4 hours to the beach. But Raleigh is a 2.5, 3 hours to the mountains, and Charlotte's closer to the 2-hour range to get to the mountains. So again, relatively similar distances to some of these places, but Charlotte is on the more southwestern side of the state. It's an easy drive to Atlanta, which is important for some people as they consider Charlotte. Maybe it's for work or whatever reason they need to get back and forth to Atlanta, or maybe they need to have access to the Atlanta airport. Charlotte is definitely a closer drive than Raleigh is to Atlanta. Population in Raleigh, which is the 2nd largest city in North Carolina, second to Charlotte, of course, is 500,000 people right now, but that number continues to grow. Charlotte has a population of over 800,000 people, making it the largest city in North Carolina and the 16th largest city in the entire country. I actually didn't know that Charlotte was the 16th largest city in the country. It certainly doesn't feel that way when you go, maybe compared to a New York or a Boston, but I can see that. So if you move outside of Raleigh and consider some of the additional metro areas, some of the suburbs kind of around Raleigh, you're looking at around 2.3 million people in the Raleigh metro area. And if you do the same for Charlotte, you're looking at about 2.76 million people. So again, about a 400,000 person difference there. So you want to know about the vibes and the culture of the city. Raleigh is known for its laid-back southern charm, and at the same time, it still has this kind of like up-and-coming feel to it. I will say that Raleigh almost feels like it has a chip on its shoulder in a way, in a sense that Raleigh wants to prove to people that it's a great place to live, a great place to be, and that it's an up-and-coming city, and that we aren't just the little brother to Charlotte anymore, but that Raleigh is the place to live and want to be. Raleigh has a really cool downtown, lots of things happening, with more and more things happening every single year. When I think of Charlotte, just personally, I think Charlotte is a little brother to Atlanta. It's got this massive sprawl, so traffic in Charlotte can be terrible. I feel like they've been doing traffic on I-85 in Charlotte for my entire life. I feel like I've never been to Charlotte without them doing construction on the highway. So it just has this feel to it that's this massive city that's always under construction. And honestly, it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot more to do there besides some of the sporting opportunities that we're going to talk about. But it's a cool city, and it does have easy access to the mountains, so that's definitely a benefit. All right, so let's talk about sports. Charlotte obviously has a ton going on there, but what they don't have going on much of right now is winning.
Sorry. That was harsh.
So they have the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets. The Panthers playing the NFL, the Hornets playing the NBA. But honestly, both teams are absolutely terrible. I can't remember the last time I cared about either one of those teams. And quite frankly, people in North Carolina care so much more about college sports than they do about professional sports. Now, it is something really fun to go do if you're in Charlotte, to go to a Panthers game or to go to a Hornets game. That can be a lot of fun, but it is getting very expensive. In fact, the Panthers only won 2 games all last year in the NFL, and they're raising prices for tickets. I think they should probably give tickets away before they start raising prices when they win 2 games. They also have a massive motor speedway where they have a ton of events, including NASCAR events. So if you're into racing, Charlotte definitely is going to win that one out. Raleigh has the Carolina Hurricanes. We're in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs of the NHL right now. This year, they were the best attended team in the entire NHL. The Hurricanes have an incredible atmosphere. Fans just care a ton, and it's a really fun thing to go do. Raleigh also has the Durham Bulls, which is the AAA baseball team, which is a really fun event. And of course, Raleigh's home to NC State, and then Duke and UNC Chapel Hill are also nearby, which historically are 3 of the best college sports programs in the entire country. Duke and UNC are perennial basketball powerhouses. NC State went to the Final Four this year. So when it comes to sports, Raleigh has a ton going on. It's just different. In Raleigh, you'll find that college sports matter a whole lot more than professional sports do, but Raleigh does love their Hurricanes. So let's move on to colleges. In Raleigh, you have NC State, which is based in Raleigh, and then nearby you have UNC Chapel Hill as well as Duke. One of the biggest benefits to Raleigh continuing to see the growth that they are is that many of the graduates who are graduating from NC State, UNC, and Duke continue to stay in the area. Charlotte has UNC Charlotte, which is a great UNC system school, a great public school with a ton of different opportunities. They also have a law school there. So there's some really good opportunities at UNC Charlotte, but it's hard to compete with Duke, UNC, and NC State being located within about a 15 to 20 mile radius of each other. All right, so what do you think you could find for a job if you move to Raleigh? Well, right now what we're seeing in Raleigh is a massive hub for technology, research, innovation, and especially life sciences. So that's a huge component that we're seeing people definitely take an interest in Raleigh. Life science has typically been located in Boston, but we're seeing a massive shift right now to the Raleigh market. We have major companies here such as IBM, Cisco Systems, SAS, but what surprises a lot of people is that actually our medical system is the largest employer in the entire region. We have 2 of the top hospitals in the entire country. Both are learning hospitals within Duke and UNC. We see people move here all the time to be able to be closer to Duke or UNC hospital. If you are looking for a job in Charlotte, what you're going to see a major component of the jobs in Charlotte is within the banking and financial services. There's a ton of banks located in Charlotte, but Bank of America and Wells Fargo have headquarters there. Charlotte is second only to New York City in the entire country when it comes to banking services being located in their metro area. And it's been that way for a long time and will continue to be, but Bank of America and Wells Fargo definitely play a huge role in employing people in the Charlotte area. They also have a really diverse energy sector. Duke Energy is a massive employer in the Charlotte area. It does have a growing tech sector, but quite frankly, the tech sector in Raleigh is growing much faster than the one in Charlotte. All right, so now let's talk housing. So Raleigh offers a ton of different diverse ranges of housing, anywhere from historic homes in our downtown areas to modern homes and next door to some of those historic homes, and then of course a ton of suburban communities. Charlotte has a little bit more of a mix with some of those historic homes. They have more high-rise luxury condo developments as well. And then like we mentioned before, they've seen a ton of sprawl, and so they have massive suburban developments just like Raleigh. So I would say the offerings and home styles are pretty similar. I do think Charlotte has a little bit more of a higher end luxury market, though we're starting to see that shift in Raleigh. I would say that Charlotte definitely sees more of the 5 million, 6 and 7 million, where in Raleigh, those are a little more one-off right now, but the number of those luxury homes continues to grow. Prices in both average about the same. In April of 2024, the average sales price in Charlotte was $411,000 compared to Raleigh at $430,000. So again, that number is essentially the same. Yes, there's a $20,000 difference there, but for all things being, it's essentially the same. So it really comes down to where you're gonna live and what you get for your dollars in those. All right, so as we're talking about housing costs, let's just talk about overall cost of living in each one. As far as transportation costs in Raleigh, we're about 4% lower than Charlotte, but they do in Charlotte have a great public transportation system with light rail included in that we don't have in Raleigh. Food costs 1% higher in Raleigh, again, generally the same. Entertainment costs 2% lower in Raleigh, but we're also not overpaying for Carolina Panthers tickets. And then healthcare costs is about 7% higher in Raleigh, but there's also a premium on that because you're able to go to Duke or UNC, which again are some of the best hospitals in the entire country. Hope you enjoyed this comparison of Raleigh versus Charlotte, and I hope it helps you make an informed decision as to which one is going to be better for you. If you're thinking of moving to the Raleigh area in the next 9 to 90 days, reach out to us today. We talk to people all the time who reach out to us and need our help and our assistance in moving to the Raleigh area, and we would love to help you. All right, we'll talk to you soon.